With over 60 years of statement processing experience, some of the horror stories that LKCS has heard, and I'm not going to go into too much depth here, but basically the number one is no long-term contracts. All right. We hear the horror stories of people signing 3, 5, 7, 9-year deals with vendors, and then the service not being up to snuff, right? So they get stuck in those long-term contracts, and then they can't get out of them. They auto-renew, things like that. So I will tell anybody that is in a long-term contract, if you have to sign it, fine. But basically, once it's signed, go ahead and put in the cancellation, which would just stop those auto-renewals. So at least gives you a chance to get out of that contract. Cancellation fees. It's another thing LKCS does not do. Right? Again, those horror stories of those long-term contracts, if something isn't working out or that vendor is making mistakes, if you try to leave them, they're going to charge you potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars to leave. All right. Again, LKCS isn't going to hold you hostage. If we're not, holding up our end of the bargain, we do not want to make you work with us, right? So that is never an issue on our end. Our programming costs are affordable and done, rather quickly. So, we hear a lot of times other vendors, they need a programming change. It's going to take, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. It's going to cost several $1,000s. And we realize that that's just not acceptable. Things change. Things need to be done right away. So our programming costs are rather affordable, and they're done quickly within a few days or potentially a few weeks. Obviously, some special case scenarios, it might take longer, but for the most part, a few days or a few weeks is all we need to get everything done. And then, it's a few $100s to maybe a few $1,000s on some more extensive changes. So very, very reasonable compared to industry standards, right? Our team has redundant checks and balances to ensure accuracy of everything on the statement file. One of the big things we hear is a lot of times, potentially a bad file gets sent either by the core system or accidentally by, the financial institution. The vendor just grabs it, runs it, prints it, mails it, and doesn't think twice. And then obviously has to redo everything at the cost of the financial institution. We don't do that. We're going to check everything for you to make sure everything is good the first time. And then obviously requested deadlines. So deadlines are a big thing with statements, obviously. Needing to know what's coming in, for that month's mailing. So we do request certain things to come in by a certain time. However, we understand things change, and we're flexible to accommodate that. So, if something's going to be a day late or a few days late, all you have to do is let us know. We're more than happy to hold up things on our end to make sure, those documents get put into place properly for that statement mailing. We are not a one-size-fits-all solution. All right. What I mean by that is we are completely customized from the ground up. All right. So a lot of vendors that we hear about, they're offering, maybe 5, 6 different templates. They're going to slap your logo in that template and call it a day. We don't do that. We're going to offer basically you to customize a solution from the ground up in any way you want to meet your specific needs. That customization goes down to marketing opportunities that can go all the way down to the member level. All right, so again, it's not a one-size-fits-all or cover-all solution in the fact that we can offer multiple different marketing options for every single statement run for you. We have a world-class e-statement solution that is what I feel is fantastic, and that is only getting better. We are working on an updated system that's going to offer even more access and solutions and marketing opportunities for you, to your members, to your customers. Access to key personnel and management, this is a big deal. So, so many vendors have switched over to that ticketing system model, which I personally can't stand, and I feel a lot of people feel that same way. I don't want to, submit a ticket and then, not hear back for 2, 3, 4 days, whatever the case is. At LKCS, you're going to have your dedicated account rep's phone number, email. You're going to have their customer service teams, phone numbers, emails, our statement coordinators teams, emails, phone numbers. We have, after hours hotlines that ring our management teams, phones at home, leaves voicemails. So if you have an issue and you need to talk to somebody, you will talk to somebody, near immediately. In almost all cases, all of your account reps or customer service team is going to get back to you, within minutes, if not, about an hour or so, at almost the worst case scenario. And in the event that it's after hours, again, we have those hotlines that are going to reach out to, our supervisors and management team to make sure that you're getting an answer and somebody to talk to, immediately. And then we have multiple verification processes from the moment we receive a statement file until it leaves our facility. And I'm going to really dive into some of those details a little bit later here in the presentation. Okay. So right now, LKCS, we have over 225 statement clients. And more importantly than that, we also have over 225 statement references. And why do I say that? Is I am more than willing to give out basically any single one of our current clients as a reference because we know that they trust us and they would speak highly of us. In our Net Promoter Score survey that we do yearly, we have scored a 91 plus every single time. So for those not familiar with the NPS survey, a 0 score is considered average. Companies like Apple, Google, Amazon, they're getting scores between 20 and 30, which is considered world class. We're getting over a 90. Okay, so our customer service, when we say we're good at it, I promise we mean it, and we can show you that, if you give us a chance. So with our platform, again, we customize everything from the ground up, and that means we can prepare your statement in just about any format or layout you can imagine. All right, so we begin programming work, begin, starting that process for any of our new clients. We ask you, let us know any specific option styles, elements that you want to incorporate into your statement. We're more than happy, to custom program that and design it specifically for you. What is reformatting? What am I talking about? The two images on the screen here, the image on the left and the image on the right, are the exact same data. All right. Image on the left is really how we get data from typically from the cores, and we're taking that data and reformatting it, making it look nicer, right? Giving it proper headings and breaking lines so it's easier to read and easier for the consumer to really look at and understand. And then we're also adding marketing opportunities, as you can kind of see in the top right area in this particular example. So anything you want to change on that statement, we can do it. All right. And just going through a few different designs. The next few slides will show you a couple different looks. And again, this is all customizable, so anything you want, we can change on this end. It's not a big deal. On top of your normal statements, obviously we can do full color laser printing. So full color printing for your actual printed statements. We have more and more clients, switching over to this model. The cost of color printing is coming down on the laser side. It's still more expensive than black only, obviously, but it used to be very, very expensive. And now it's pretty affordable. So if it's something you want to look into, that is definitely an option on the print side. And a couple more examples of that. And then on top of your regular statements, any other documents, notices, credit card statements, mortgage statements, tax forms, etc., all of that type of stuff, we can handle it, take care of it, and in most cases reformat everything. So everything besides tax forms we handle. Obviously the tax stuff is done in a certain format from the IRS, so we don't really mess with that. Changes. All right, this is probably one of the biggest headaches for most people. They need something done. It's typically dumped on them last minute by somebody, up the food chain somewhere, and it turns into a bit of a nightmare. LKCS makes this easy. right? We can make data changes quickly and affordably. So we request that basically any data changes to the upcoming month's statement are made to us prior to the 25th of the month. That gives us at least a week typically to make those changes. And everything that I kind of list there in bullets. So, just quick updates to the current layout, quick text changes, changing customized marketing positions. That is all very, very simple, can be done, in a few days' time, and typically costs, just a few $100s, in most scenarios. All right. So all of that stuff, very, very simple. We get it done, have it done and ready to go for that month. Major changes, what I consider more major changes, could require additional time depending on exactly what's needed, what data we have, if we already have, sample data or not, et cetera. Some of those things might be, brand new sections. Hey, we just got this new product. There's these new codes. This is how we need it to look. It may take a little bit more than a few days. Might be more between a week or 2 weeks. Obviously, updating all of your branding. That's something that comes along that typically needs a few weeks to kind of get all the correct documents ready to go. Maybe you want to do custom programming for loan payment coupons, put those coupons right on the statement themselves. So that type of programming testing typically takes a few weeks time, but again, it is still very affordable. Most of these things, in the low end could be a few $100s still, up to a few $1,000s. But again, it's not going to take several months or $10, $20, $30,000 either. Okay. So on the subject of that statement reformatting, one of the things that LKCS also does, and we do it for almost all of our clients, is what we call trans-promo statement marketing. All right, we're adding statement ads, or what we call Onserts, that we print directly onto your statement. All right, so marketing opportunities that we print directly on that statement or e-statement that literally costs pennies. All right, we can send these ads to everybody, or you can target specific groups of account holders to receive one or more of those messages. These marketing areas are not limited to short text-only messages that typically most cores, kind of handcuff you to. You can include graphics, logos, fonts, photos, and even personalize those ads with our technology. Basically, we can also, I talked about the loan payment coupons. We can do it because of everything else we're doing with reformatting. We can put those loan payment coupons directly on the statement. They always know where it's at. No need to print a big book that gets outdated quickly. But also that rolls over to rate grids, regulatory notices, and more. That can all be done in line with the statements. All this customization, you can design these ads yourself, or we can custom design things for you on this end. It's not a problem either way. We also have an online catalog that you can go to and select things to use for your statements at any time. So here's a couple different examples of different statement onserts, those ads that would print directly on the statement. They can be any size, they can be in any location, first page, last page, in the middle of the statement. It does not matter. We can put them anywhere. We can go all the way up to full statement letters. So what these statement letters are is basically personalized, direct mail letters as the first page of your statement. Why do we, promote this? It's no extra postage, right? If we are piggybacking on the statement that's already getting sent out, you're already paying that postage. You don't have to do a separate mailing. So these are popular for skip-a-pay type solutions, investment relationships, welcoming new accounts, and more. So this is a very, very good way to kind of use your statements as more of a marketing happening. Here's a few examples of actual pre-screen loan campaigns that we have done. Again, this would have been the first page of that statement data flowing right behind it on page 2. But LKCS does work with all 3 credit bureaus, so we can work with them and actually do pre-approval type campaigns for you and do them separately or include them with statements, no problem. Cross-selling on LKCS statements is super, easy. All right, you get to target who gets to receive those onserts or inserts with any criteria, including account relationships, balances, or activity, the geography of that particular member, or any other condition identifiable in your statement data that we can key on, or any condition identifiable in a separate control file that you can get us, as long as it includes that member number or customer number. Okay. We're talking about these customizations, these different marketing opportunities. These are some potential candidates, just to give you some ideas. You know, new account holders. The first time we see somebody in a statement file, we can welcome them to the institution, let them know, you know, how you do business different. Whatever the case is, we can say something there. Obviously, we know when people are paying loans off with you. We can easily thank them in that statement. Hey, thanks for your business. Here's, you know, our latest product, service, rates, whatever that may interest you. Auto loan recapture. Knowing when they purchased that auto loan and knowing that most people are looking for a new vehicle, you know, after roughly 3 years. So we can start putting some messages or some customized, you know, marketing ads on that person's statement, maybe around right at the start of the 2.5-year mark. So it gives us 6 months to kind of reach out and tickle them and hope they, you know, think of us for their next loan. Birthday messages. Really, really simple, but just a simple happy birthday on the statement and the month that their birthday is in. Builds that trust, builds that loyalty with you. Loan payment coupons. If you have an insurance, mortgage, or investment division, to get that information out to potential members that are interested in those products or that we feel would best fit those particular products. Your business accounts. Doesn't have to look the same as your normal consumer account. We can change that statement up, make it easier for the businesses to read their statement or call out different marketing opportunities there. If you have any mergers or branch acquisitions, welcoming those people to the institution and more. So all great ideas and ways we can target and turn, you know, those statements into marketing campaigns. Envelope back printing. You know, I tell everybody, go ahead and tell me which side of the envelope you look at when you're opening it. Most likely not the front. Almost everybody flips it over and looks at the back of the envelope where the flap is. We print on the backs of our envelopes here. That envelope is big. It's a big billboard. It's a little over 9 inches by 4 inches. So we print there. It's really inexpensive. Costs just over a penny a piece to do it. And it's almost a guaranteed way for people to see whatever information we are printing on the backs of those envelopes. Like I said, we do have an online custom store that has all of these different you know, ideas that we come up with. We do come up with 5 new designs every single quarter for people to pick from. But again, we have an online catalog that has thousands of designs, all separated by product type that you can search for and use at any time. E-statements. We realize that this is the future, all right? We're not hiding from that, I guess. We already have our own e-statement solution. Like I said, it's only going to get better as we program and build out our new solution. But everything we talked about already is all included on the e-statement side as well. So delivering inserts with e-statements, we do it via banner ads. So basically just quick images, ads that you would link out to. So these would link out to a PDF, an application, a web page, whatever it may be on the website. So we're not forgetting, you know, those marketing positions on the e-statements. Going a step further, we can customize all of the e-statement email notifications. It's not just a simple email saying, hey, you know, your e-statement's ready, click here. We can turn these into e-newsletters or different marketing type promotions to get some more engagement, a little bit more mileage out of, you know, what we're already sending. I talked about color printing, but obviously color statements don't cost more online. Color on a computer screen is free, so even if you are not printing your statements in full color, your e-statement should always be shown in full color. Right? It doesn't cost more, but it looks a whole heck of a lot better there. So as you can see by that side by side. Some advantages with LKCS's e-statement system. We can deliver any type of document electronically. So not only your statements, but that goes to your tax forms, account notices, and more. Our e-statements are already mobile friendly, so they're going to work on every single mobile device you could think of. I talked about that email notification. Those are customizable. They're also trackable, so we know what people were clicking on and what they were doing and all that good stuff. We have optional text message notifications. So if your account holders want to get notified via text message instead of email, or different messages depending on what type of document it is, we can do that. Obviously, linking to those newsletters, disclosures, privacy policies, and more can be done. Our online retention, you can have as long as you want. Typically, people are picking between 12 and 24 months. That's pretty standard. But we have some clients that are asking for 36, 48, 60. I think we have a few that are doing 72 or more months of retention and storage online. So that is perfectly fine with us. We can store it as long as you need it. We have the ability to allow your joint account holders to view statements from their own single sign-on, so they don't have to sign into multiple accounts. They can sign into one and see everything that is available to them. For the credit union, we have an online platform that you are able to go in and review all statements, tax forms, notices, etc. online before they are sent out, if you prefer to take a look at that each month. That same system allows your employees to have access to all documents online, not just the people that are signed up for e-statements. We actually host an e-statement for every single document that we process. So no matter what, your employees can look it up, and B, when that account holder signs up for e-statements, all of their history is already there. It has a comprehensive user management system, so you can control who can see what and who can do what. Full e-statement reporting with everything you need and more. The e-statement enrollment process, again, has instant access to all those historical documents that we would have. And then we do have single sign-on integrations with multiple online banking vendors. Okay? So that stuff's already in place. We're happy to set up any single sign-on connection with any vendor, even if we don't have it, although we have, several dozen different connections already established. But if you're using somebody that maybe we don't have a connection with, we're more than happy to set that connection up, no additional cost to you. We want to be able to work with you, and obviously that helps us in the future for others. So anything from our end would never be a cost to set those things up for you. Okay. Diving into the privacy and security side of things, obviously information security and privacy is critical when you're talking about, statement processing and e-statements and all that good stuff. LKCS SOC 2 certified, which was probably a standard, right, for everybody. Some of that stuff, includes several things here, but a few I'll key on. Our building number one. Our building was designed with security in mind. So all of our entrances are protected via biometric and PIN-based entry systems, right? So you cannot get into our facility if you don't work here, basically. You can't get in. Even certain areas of the facility aren't allowed to even our employees. So, even myself, even though I'm in management, if I went up to our data center and tried to get in, it will stay locked. It knows I have no business in our data center. So, like I said, even within our building, not all employees can just go wherever they want. Okay, we do make all of our employees undergo a complete, full formal background check before hiring, and we also keep our employees trained and tested on IT security. So we actually have different IT security and cybersecurity bi-weekly emails going out and videos training our employees and constantly staying vigilant on the latest, what's going on and how things are happening, right? We were just talking about, the MGM hack, the other day. So this is very, very important to us. We understand that, and we are constantly training and testing our employees nonstop on these items to keep everything we can safe and secure on this end. But information security doesn't really make us different, right? Almost every vendor you talk to is going to have some type of these different, information security policies and SOC 2 audits and all of that type of stuff. Where we feel we're different is down into our quality control, okay? Again, most of the statement vendors are going to monitor quality. I would guess that almost every single vendor besides us is going to rely solely on automated controls. We don't do that. And the reason we don't is we don't believe that computers can catch everything. And why? Well, that computer was programmed by a human, so if there was a mistake, it's not going to catch it, okay? So we actually have employees verifying quality at every single stage of our operations. All right. Some of the things we're looking for in our quality control are correct statement periods. File settings are the same, as we've previously seen. Record counts aren't more than 10% higher or lower. We are looking at message spelling and grammar in any statement messages that are coming in. And we also have mail tracking systems to see any bottlenecks or issues with the delivery from the USPS. All right. So all of that stuff is all included. So again, what are we checking and why are we checking it? Incorrect transaction dates. It's so common. I would say we get at least a dozen files a month that have the wrong transaction dates. All right. So many vendors would take that and just process it. We are telling you, hey, the dates in this month's file don't match what it should be. Can you take a look? Nope, we sent the wrong file. They'll get us a new one. And I talked about that 10% overrun. We're looking at statement counts for everything. No mails, what was actually printed, what was your e-statement count? And we're looking, is it up or down 10% compared to last month or last quarter? If it is, we reach out. We look at the address block data and formatting, making sure that nothing was accidentally, moved or changed, or, we've had people accidentally send files that something changed in the system and all of a sudden the account number was at the address line. We can't have that type of stuff, right, for security. So we're actually looking at that. Again, checking the statement messages for grammatical errors. We're looking at any marketing and making sure that the correct marketing message is in place for the correct month. We're looking at audit information. Is it needed? Is everything lining up for that audit? Do you have any additional inserts? What's going on with that? And then we have additional added components, which I'm actually going to talk about in a bit, but touch on. We have a match code, a 2D barcode, and then an IMV barcode appearing. So those things we're looking for, and I'll explain what that means here in just a second. But more importantly, all of these things are looked at by every single department here at LKCS, and actually every single file that comes in at every single step of the way is inspected by at least 2 different team members in each department. So we do not allow one person to sign off on anything in any department. So if somebody's working on something, setting something up, another employee has to come over and verify everything they just did as a second set of eyes, just to verify that nothing's being missed. Again, if our team discovers anything that appears to be wrong, our statement coordinator team, they're notified and they reach out directly to, to your statement contact, or contacts to work on a solution. So anything we see that we question, we hold up our side. We ask you guys, hey, this is what we saw. We just want to verify. And, sometimes it's okay to move forward. Sometimes it's thanks for catching it. Let's send a new file, whatever the case is. But you will never be left in the dark. We will always talk to you and let you know what's going on there. Just to show you, this is very, very common. Here are some of the issues that we basically found, just a few months ago. Statement period wasn't correct. We got data from 4/1 to 4/30 when it should have been 5/1 to 5/31. Right, so the previous month's data came in. We find typos all the time. I mean, dozens of these every single month, it seems. But we look at that and we reach out and ask you, hey, do you want us to change that or update it or send a new piece in, whatever that may be. Some cores send 2 separate files, one file for print, one file for e-statements. A lot of times we'll get one or the other, but not both. We reach out, talk to you. Counts are always different or changing. But just, I think it was 2 months ago, we had a count that was different by 42% compared to the previous month. Big red flag. We stopped it and talked about it. No mail statements. We even look at that. Something as simple as, hey, it was 9 last time and now it's 0. Why is that? We'll ask you. E-statements, jumped up, by a big amount. We'll stop and ask you. So these are all pretty common that we see almost every single month, a variation of these types of issues. And again, our team is trained to look for this, and multiple people are looking for it at every single department. Accuracy is key, okay? So, on the next page, we're going to talk a little bit about timeline and how quickly we get things done. But I put this slide first on purpose, and the reason I did that is accuracy is much more important than time, okay? Just because somebody gave you an SLA that your statements are going to be out in 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever the case is, if they send it out wrong, does it matter how fast it went out? And the answer is no. If there's a mistake, something happened, wrong date is out, multiple people's statements are in a single envelope going to the wrong person, it doesn't matter how quickly it was done. It was just done wrong, okay? So the accuracy is far more important than speed from the LKCS side. So a couple things that we're doing that we feel are a little bit unique. First, that top piece is what we call a match code. All right. Every single statement that LKCS produces, every single client has a custom match code for their particular statement layout. We actually print that match code on all the statement forms, and then we verify that match code with the actual statement data. So we know that the correct data is going on the correct forms at all times. All right, it's just something simple. It's a tiny little number. You don't really notice it, but it is there for accuracy purposes. All right. Second thing there is a 2D barcode. 2D barcode is very similar to like a QR code, but that 2D barcode is basically telling us what statement information is for this particular statement. It's telling us, how many, who it belongs to, how many pages are in that particular statement. What inserts might have to go with it or anything like that. The majority of vendors are switching over to this 2D, so that's not, in itself unique. So what is unique is that we put that 2D barcode on every single page, okay? A lot of vendors are only putting it on page 1, all right? Obviously, when the readers see that, even when most of the time when it's on page 1, it sees it and says, okay, this is Tim's statement, and it's 3 pages, and it just pulls the next 2 pages, knowing it already has page 1. Well, what happens if a page got, jumbled? It's not looking at the next 2 pages, it's just grabbing them. So we actually put it on every single page, so we are reading that code on every single page. So if anything got jumbled or out of order, it knows it. We read that 2D barcodes several different times throughout that inserting track to make sure nothing, got out of order, changed, whatever the case is. And then the bottom one is the intelligent mail barcode, or the IMB barcode. And while this is not unique at all to LKCS, it's actually something that the USPS, the post office basically does. So that's how they track the mail, scan, and move it through their system. What is unique with LKCS is that we actually requested that the post office send us that data back. All the data they have that they keep, so they know where all the mail is. Well, we want to know where our mail is, right? So we actually get all of this intelligent mail barcode information back. We put it in our system, so our clients, if they call us and say, this member said they didn't receive a statement, or hey, can you tell us have our statements been delivered yet? We can actually get on and in our data tell you exactly where every single piece of mail is in the system, when it was delivered, if it was hung up somewhere, whatever the case may be. So that's a really invaluable tool that we have that really isn't unique to us. It's just unique in the way that we actually get the data back and use it then to our benefit to let you know where the mail is. All right, so all of these different things that we're doing, all right, this is why I feel LKCS is really the the only vendor that does all of the manual procedures because they feel that the manual procedures slow us down. But that is not the case at all. I promise the manual procedures are making us better. We're catching more things, and we're making you look better rather than slowing us down, right? So month after month, 80% of our client statements mail within 1 day. Within 24 hours of getting a statement filed, they are out the door. In the last 6 months, almost 90% of our statements mailed within the first 2 business days, so 48 hours. In the last 12 months, none of our clients have mailed after that 72-hour window. Okay, so when I talked about SLAs, 72 hours is our goal to get all mail out within 72 hours of receipt of a good file. E-statements are out within 24 hours. But again, the accuracy is more important. And this is just a quick note. So just last month, we had a client, our operator found an issue on the machine. We actually have a custom proprietary sensor that reads the opacity of an envelope to make sure it has enough glue on it so it seals properly. That sensor was out of place. It was not just off a little bit. And we had already inserted 40,000 envelopes when we realized that. So what we did is we stopped. We took several employees and actually had those employees flip through all 40,000 of those envelopes that were already sealed to double check and make sure that all those envelopes were properly sealed and there was none that, were missing glue potentially on that envelope flat. That particular, client still made it out in 72 hours, so there was no issue. But that is just an example of, things that LKCS does to go above and beyond to make sure that your statements are processed the right way, and you can kind of sleep a little bit better at night knowing you don't have to worry about those things. Okay. So that is all I have for today's presentation. I'd like to thank everybody again for joining and listening in. Sorry about the technical difficulties early on, but hopefully that'll flush itself out and everybody learned something today. My information's on the screen. Any other questions you have, you want to talk to me a little bit more about something in particular, feel free to reach out directly, my email, my phone number. I'll stay on the line for a few more minutes. If you want to shoot any questions in via the toolbar, I'll be more than happy to answer it. But again, thank you everybody, and definitely join us next week. We have a good one coming up on website redesign that I think is going to be a really good webinar. So if you're interested in a website redesign, I definitely recommend signing up for the webinar we have coming up in December. So everybody have a great day. Thank you.